it's good that we're online already. Just keep an eye on it and. Okay.
Roger that.
Okay. Yes. So we are online. We are live. That's what I meant.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Is the framing of my camera good?
Yes, it's perfecto.
Perfetto, molto bene, bene così, very good. We're just waiting for MJ.
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 He prefers MJ.
That's her name, MJ.
MJ.
So, hello MJ. Welcome to this thing that means nothing. What?
I thought I'd make an entrance.
That was quite an entrance.
Bravo. To me.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, I can hear myself. Cool.
Okay.
Can I wear sunglasses?
Yeah, I have sunglasses. I don't know why. But yeah, they're just here. Feel free to do whatever you like with them.
Can I look and check?
Yeah, you can look in another pair of sunglasses to check if you
Yeah.
look good in sunglasses.
Yellow. If I look at the camera?
What?
If I look at the camera?
You can look at the camera. The camera is right
Oops,
there.
I bumped my mic. Sorry. Can you
Yeah.
look now?
Yeah, sure. Beer is good. You prefer Corona or whatever this other thing is?
Sorry. What's
I
the
have no
choice?
idea. I don't
think
even
it's
drink. I
something.
don't know why I'm drinking. Cheers. So, welcome to this thing.
Love it. I'm gonna wear the sunglasses. Can I wear a hat? Oh no. I'm
Oh, you
sorry.
broke it. And my
Sorry.
beer is just like going crazy.
Can I wear this one before it gets to the beer? Can I wear the hat?
Yes, you can wear a hat and you can just remove my dreadlock from it.
That's kind of cool.
People keep saying that. So the thing is, I used to have very long hair till when I was like 24, and I never got used to the. I never surrendered to the idea that my hair is not growing as it used to.
Oh, as in like post 24, the hair stopped to grow.
Yes.
This is such a male problem. I love it.
Yeah. So now I save the dreadlock thing as a
But
memento.
this time that you cut your hair now, this is the first time you cut it.
You want to talk much closer
Sorry,
to that?
this time you cut your hair now.
like this.
This is
And that.
this is
Yeah.
the first time.
Just do it.
I have a very important question to ask you
Yes.
about your hair. This time that you, literally exact. This time you cut your hair now. That's the first time you cut it since 24. So this
No.
piece of dreadlock is from 24-year-old growth.
No, that one is from 2015 growth. So I stopped cutting my hair in 2015.
At which age you were 24?
Who knows?
Okay.
We need a
The
mathematician
mystery
here.
remains. Okay, no. Math is not my strong point. Anyway, so this growth is since 2015 until now.
Yes, I mean much more than that. That's just the dreadlock part, but there was like a bunch.
Yuck.
It's hair. Like people make wigs out of real
Yeah,
human
no, yeah.
hair. Like
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be growth.
No. I mean,
gross.
hair is not gross. I just mean, just that it's there sitting on the table.
Well, it
It's
wasn't.
It's very voodoo, you know.
It wasn't
there's
sitting on the
this-
table. It was like decorating the salt lamp, which now it's really bold and it looks funny.
We can put it back.
No. I mean, who cares?
Cute. Sorry, that was super sad. I've destroyed your whole production design. Sorry.
That's right. Actually, you made my production design much better. Bringing your. Can you close the window thing so people can see the poster? Fantastico.
Nice, huh?
Yes, I love the design on that. What does it mean?
So this was for my first film that I made in Beijing. So thus the Beijing vibe. So we made 5 posters for the Kickstarter that we did.
Okay.
And yeah, each was a little bit different. We all took.
Thanks
Sorry,
for
I keep
destroying
breaking-
everything in on like yeah. Feel free to smash a glass.
Thanks. Yeah, nothing. We made 5, and this little face that you see, that was in one scene towards the end. It was on a door in Beijing, so we took that. And yeah, the guys who made it were really cool. It was
What was the movie about?
nice question. Thank you for asking.
I did watch it. I just forgot. And for the viewers and listeners, I mean,
It was when I had moved to Beijing. I
how long did you live there? For
like 4 years.
okay.
Yeah, so I moved when I was 21 there, and I'd lived in China before, and I really loved the vibe of it. But a lot of people here were kind of, why would you leave a very nice, cool life here to go to Beijing? And I mean, I went there to study, so it was part of my studies anyway, so obviously it fit into the logic, but I really wanted to show people how cool it was, like how fun it was to live there. So in some ways it was just filming out
You
my-
having fun.
essentially, yeah, like the life of the young foreigner there who's not an expat. It's like someone studying or someone doing, I don't know, podcasts or design. Actually, I think the girl, the main character, if I remember correctly, she was doing a blog or a podcast, this kind of thing. Because you do have a lot of foreigners, at least you used to, there, who were doing like small random things, or maybe teaching English on the side, and it was a place that you could go and kind of do whatever you wanted. Now, of course, no, because the restrictions or like the requirements are much higher for a visa, but there was a point where you didn't have high requirements for a visa.
Interesting.
You could go, and because it was China, a lot of things were quite cheap to do, like print posters. So you could have like projects that you maybe couldn't really achieve because of a cost barrier somewhere else that you could achieve there. So you had a lot of cool people doing cool projects. I mean, you also had a lot of like people who were like,
So China used to be cheap, now it's not anymore.
I
That's
mean,
The
no, there's still things you can do cheaper there, and I think at the time there were also things that costed a lot there. Depends what you're doing, but now China's arrived. It's like a point where it's a super strong, amazing place, and that they can say like here or like America or like the UK, you have to have this many points to get a visa. But before, like not even that long ago, it wasn't super long ago at all. You could just pop up there. And because everyone had popped up there, some were like running away from lives in Europe, or like they weren't cool in America. So you had this kind of vibe of it's like, well, you were a bit weird at home, weren't you? Like they could pop up in China too, these people.
Ah.
So it was
Just
really
pop
a
up
place to reinvent yourself. And because everyone had popped up there, some were like running away from
Yo,
lives in Europe.
what's
or, like, they
going
weren't
on?
Cool in America. So you had this kind of vibe of it's like.
Can you please mute the computer feedback from the USB on the?
I'm changing
Thank you.
glasses.
Fantastico.
But yeah, it was cool.
They're
so
still broken, right?
Huh?
They're broken.
yeah, they're still broken, but I
Okay.
can balance them because my nose is actually uneven, so it can
Oh, really?
balance
How
one
come?
side. I don't know. I just noticed it because I can always wear sunglasses with one side only. So I realized, and usually it's this particular side that falls off. I don't know why, but I realized.
Does it
my-
come from boxing? Because you do box, right?
Yeah, I do. I recently started. I'm not. I had dreams of being pro. First, I had dreams of being pro, and then I realized I was more like Billy Elliot. Like I was there, and they play this pumping music when you're boxing, and I was much more interested in dancing to the music than actually doing the boxing. So I felt like I could suddenly understand how he felt, Billy Elliot. That I was.
I think
Yeah.
there's a sport called something box dancing something.
I would love to do that sport. I would love to do
It's
that
like
sport.
basically boxing and dancing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That was like perfect because I mean the action of boxing is very like cathartic, even just to do like this. And anyway, when you do I don't know like aerobics, a lot of the moves are like boxing-ish moves, like do 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 do. A lot
Very
of, like
Jane
80s
Fonda
dancing.
sort of.
Exactly.
Yes.
Imagine like 80s dancing. Anyway, there's some like box-ish element, but I wasn't so good of the actual boxing like footwork because the problem is with boxing you have to be very zen. If you move, this is what I understood. Now I learned it a bit longer, and then I realized I'm not Billy Elliot at all, nor am I like
You
millionaire.
kind of really
dollar
need to talk a
baby.
little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
Yeah, I had this like millionaire dollar baby dream as well. Like I could like be a lady boxer, but anyway, no. But I did what I have learned until now is that you have to be much more zen, and you can't just be like bopping everywhere and pretending that you're dancing and like putting the arms everywhere. No, you have to be like completely there and much more like gong fu, like very calm and at the right moment, pew, Yeah,
Yes.
like it's much more like this than what I imagined, which was much more like boppy, dancey.
I don't know
So, yeah.
much about boxing.
No, evidently neither do I. Literally, I just started. It's like the beginners of rap.
How do you like it?
I like it.
That's good. That's good.
I like it. Although I'm moving house, so I changed gyms, so now I have to find a new place.
Oh.
And maybe I'll just get into like hip hop or something. Obviously, I prefer dancing.
Have you ever tried breakdancing?
No, I would probably break myself before I.
It's actually super cool, and
Yeah.
and it's very good for your body. Like it makes people look super muscly. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do acrobatics or like trapezing. This would be one of my. I used to dream that I would run away to join the circus and become the lady who rides the horse standing up. You know this, the acrobat on the
Yeah,
horse.
I might have seen that. I have a lot of circus friends back in Italy.
Do they ride the horse?
No, they don't.
No. I think it's animal cruelty now to have animals in circuses, which completely makes sense. I completely agree with that. But nevertheless, the dream was to ride. It had to be called Flash the Dancing Pony. And it not only would go in circus, it would dance, and I would like be on it, maybe dancing as well. Anyway, yeah.
So tell me why your careers drifted apart from circus and went towards films. Like what happened there? What went wrong?
Well, I understood that I wasn't nimble enough to dance on the back of a dancing horse, for one. Having never met a dancing horse, that dream was shattered. I was butted by a small goat in a circus in France, which kind of distracted that dream as well.
It was
I
a
mean,
goat accident.
Goats are my spirit animal, so I was a little bit upset about that because I thought we were connecting. But then,
Ouch. That must
yeah,
have
so I
sucked.
realized, I have to move away from the circus. No. I was doing theatre acting very, very amateurly here
When?
in undergraduate, like just for fun. And actually also when I was a kid, like I really liked acting on stage. And when I went to China through a friend here, she introduced me to her friends, so I'd have like people to know when I got to Beijing, and they were film directors. Or actually, the main guy, I mean, some were artists, a few different friends, but the main one who I kind of like spent some time with, or like met more, let's say, was this theatre director who he was putting on a play, and he needed someone to play the foreign student, which I was like the perfect fit because I spoke Chinese, I like to act, and
How long did it take for you to learn Mandarin? You speak, right?
I don't know. Think I'm still learning, as Mao Zhuxi says. 活得老，学得老。
You're very fluent in Mandarin, but also in Italian. Which one took like less time to learn?
Oh, Italian. I didn't even learn Italian.
I mean, you
I just
speak-
woke up one morning. I could speak. No, Italian because I had. I learned properly, like as in like with a book learning and like having vocab tests. Let's say French and Chinese, Mandarin, in high school, and
Okay.
because you're having vocab tests, you're like memorizing a bit more, and you're young, so your memory is much more like a spongish thing. And yeah, and then immediately after high school, I moved to China for a year to study Chinese, like in the university where you do like every day from 8 a.m. till midday, just Chinese, and in the
Okay.
afternoons you watch Chinese films and hang out with your friends and do your homework, and it's very intense, and you have nothing else to do except to chase Chinese people and ask them to be your friend.
How does that work? Are they friendly? Like, is it easy to
Absolutely.
connect with Chinese on a deep friendship level?
To be honest, it's like anywhere. Like, just because you're learning Chinese doesn't mean that a Chinese person is your friend, you know? And
Yeah,
just
of course
because
not.
they're learning English doesn't mean that you're their friend. So I had some of these false friends that you're like, wow, we can talk to each other, like we want to spend time together. And you realize, like, after half an hour, okay, I've exhausted all my vocabulary and I literally have nothing to say. But other people, of course, like, you just connect.
Because this is something that mostly Italians, they complain a lot about. Like, I know so many Italians living abroad who, like, they complain about the fact that it's hard to build deep connections with people who are not Italians, but not because of the language barrier. More
Mm.
like they cannot find depth in most of the people that they know. Like, they just think everyone is shallow. And it's I think
Except
it's
for other
really
Italians,
except for some Italians.
typically. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense to me.
I think every culture has its habits of how you connect
Exactly.
and how you interact.
So in the end, it comes up to like a lack of empathy. Like you don't understand how to connect with that person on the level that you would like to reach, and you just assume that they're shallow.
Yeah, I think a lack of empathy is maybe a very strong, but yeah, or just you don't realize this piece of the puzzle, right? That it just because someone is not interacting the way you are interacting doesn't mean that they lack depth. It's just that their way in is different. You miss this like cultural difference vocabulary to understand. I mean, I don't think that person maybe lacks empathy. I just think that they missed this piece, you know? Because maybe they can be really trying to empathize and be very empathetic to their Italian friends because they understand the passage of how
Yeah, they have
to
something
get
in
there.
common, like a
Sure,
mutual
yeah.
background or something.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, it's also not everyone, how do you say? Just because you're interested to
I want to wear sunglasses too.
yeah. Wait, can you wear these? Because I haven't worn those ones yet. So this is very, very nice action. Sorry. Yeah, cool. I
It's
don't
a very
like
cool.
that. Those ones are very dark, though.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
There's a song that I like. I mean, I don't like it, but I like it. It's an Italian song that says something like, "We were having breakfast with sunglasses on," or something like that.
Oh, nice. I know one that says, "I wear my sunglasses at night, so I can. I wear my sunglasses at night."
Is it Italian?
So I can. No. Literally, that's the only lyrics I know. You know this song.
No.
Ah,
Who's
yeah.
the?
Can you put it in the like? I wear my sunglasses at night, so I can't believe I'm singing that. I'm terrible singing, but yeah,
Thanks
it
for
goes
your
like
effort.
this. It's really nice, and they actually, I think Felix the Housecat made a remix of it, which is.
Who's the like artist? Can you look it up?
Yes.
Yeah, it's super nice. And the remix of is good because they put beats under that I think we're more familiar with dancing with now. Sometimes you listen to these 80s tracks. I mean, I love like Italo disco, this kind of more, or like funky style, but sometimes the rhythm misses
Oh, don't put the
something.
song on because of the copyright issues thing. Just like who's this? Never heard of. I'm sorry.
But
Corey.
yeah, do the remix is better. But anyway, yeah. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, cultural differences. Yeah.
Yes.
I think not everyone is. How do I say it? You don't. Just. I don't know how to explain this. Not everyone has to be the one who is the politician. Not everyone has to be the one that understands the cultural difference. Like, of course, if you travel around and you go and live in a different place,
Yes.
it can be more expected that you are that one. But I met a lot of people in Beijing who they didn't choose to come to China. They were there for work and they got sent there and they were like really good at whatever job that they were doing. And it was just happened to be with Chinese background, if that makes sense. Like you could copy and
Okay.
paste them and put them in, I don't know, Phnom Penh, I have so much trouble saying that, in Cambodia or in Thailand or anywhere in Asia, Southeast Asia, and they would be head of that office and they'd be doing that job very well, but with like Thai background or like Cambodian background. They weren't there for China to engage in it. And along the way, they did engage a bit, of course, because you're living there, but it wasn't really their thing. And yeah, that's also a valid way to move through the world.
So you noticed zero difference, like moving to China and moving to Italy, the way you could like settle in, connect with people.
I never said that. No, there's a huge difference, of course.
So what's the difference?
I think, I mean, personally, I mean, it's different for everyone. For me personally, it was different because of my age and the context, right? So
These are very dark.
that's super dark, huh? This is the guy that smells nice.
So what's this thing with? No, let's change topic for a moment. What's
Go.
this thing with smells?
Smells. I like smells. I
That's
think
fair.
if I hadn't been accepted to film school, I would have applied to perfume school. Like that's how much I like smells.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing. Of course, it's a thing.
How does it work?
In the south of France, they have the best perfume school. I think it's connected to one of the fashion houses. I don't remember now, but I really was researching at this moment because
You actually wanted to do that.
genuinely, yes. Like
That's so cool.
and you know what's so interesting? It's completely the only thing that you can't access in cinema. So it was like, if I wasn't accepted to do cinema, I would do
Wow.
the thing that has completely nothing to do with cinema, which is the only thing that you, when you're watching a movie, unless you have like scratch and sniff or like something, you can't smell. You can only arrive to a smell in cinema through the imagery that like builds up this world that you can imagine a smell. And the same way, the other way round with a perfume, you can only through the smell build up an imagery that you imagine a world.
Okay, I mean there are other things that in films you cannot have, like the touch, for instance.
Yeah,
or
but I wasn't gonna go and become like a designer of objects,
designer, like a
like an object designer.
Sculptor.
I forget. No, there's a word for this. But anyway, yeah, this kind of design of chairs and no.
Design.
I mean, I could have done this maybe, but it wasn't. I have no skills in this zone or like interest or anything. So, but yeah, so yes, you're right. There are many things that aren't touched on in film, but smell is one of them. And I was really, I still am really interested in it.
I think it's
Smell.
the one of the probably the most powerful of our senses. I don't know if you know, I wrote a book many years ago.
Don't know. I'm not surprised. Sorry, which book is this?
It's called Guide to Sentimental Terrorism. It's only
How many books did you write?
3, but I only published this one, and it's only in Italian, unfortunately,
Oh, damn.
which
So
really
I need to practice my. I need to
sucks.
practice my Italian reading skills. Maybe.
Sure, you can just I'll give you a copy. It's probably easy.
Just like I'll watch the podcast of us.
Yeah, or I'll watch your movie. No, but I mean it's it's good to be such good friends and support each other's work. Anyway, in one of the very few chapters of this book, I was making a point about how it's interesting to notice that people perceive senses in a different way. And I was playing this game where I was like challenging people to like the question was, if you must lose your senses, in which order would you lose them?
God, so this is hard.
I know, but it makes you reconsider all of your priorities, because like I have 2 answers for that. One is like ideally, and it depends on like how much I like a certain sense or like the feeling that it gives to me. But the actual answer is like realistic, like considering the world we live in and the way we use the senses and all of that. I probably would sacrifice something that I like better.
In the sense that like you don't need smell and taste in order to
Yes.
interact with
So
people, but sight and sound without, you're a little bit fucked.
I mean, a lot of people, I was surprised that they have a very high they put like taste in the top 2 or 3, and I just
So
couldn't
like
give
this, you can have a
fuck.
very nice last meal on Earth, you know.
I really think that taste is just the most useless one. But anyway, that's me. But the thing was about
But
smell.
yeah, I mean, it's when you're rating them, like. But I mean, a lot of people are blind and they have a much better sense of smell and taste. You
Yes.
know? So they are also living in a good way with the other senses. So it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
how long do you have without each one before you lose the next one? Like, what's really the game here? It's like you have 6 months without smell, and then you're going to lose taste, and then you have 6 months without that as well, and then you lose the next like sound, and then you have 6 months and then you die.
You die. Okay, I like this
No,
game.
I
It's
know
getting
it's
bleak.
your game. I'm asking you. You said if we have to lose them one by one, right?
Yes.
So like, how long do we have to survive without one before we lose the next one before we die? Is it like we have 30 years left, or this is happening in like the space of 5 senses? So like 5 times 6 months, 2.5 years. Wow.
Mm.
Did you see that maths? Thank you very much.
Wow. We should cancel on Julian for the next podcast. We are a new mathematician here. So I have no idea, but since everything is like theoretical, I would say you have to live with the last sense that you choose for whatever the rest of your life is going to be. So you don't lose the last one.
But you then you only have one sense left for the rest of your life.
Very much so.
Can you feel full?
No, it's going to be a horrible life.
No, I mean, can you feel full?
Oh yeah, that sense, yes.
Because that's not really one of the senses, but it's.
I mean, that
You know
sense
how
by
there's the-
itself
but-
works fine,
but
but the problem is that the other senses might affect that one. So
Right, but like for example, there's that disease that you can get where you can't feel pain, so you don't know if you're too full or if you've touched something hot or if your foot's been chopped off. So you have to be like constantly watching your body because you don't know if you've like left your leg behind somewhere because you can't feel it. So like, does that come under touch, or
Sort of, yes.
well, sort of? Okay, this game is getting too deep. In another question, I was thinking the other day, this idea of legacy, like the work or like the thing that you leave behind, right? Some people are work, some people are child. I don't know. But if you only had 6 months left to live, would you spend those 6 months finishing all the projects you haven't finished yet and putting them out in the world and like really pushing and letting everyone know, like, here's my I'm really bad with these foreign words. Well, here's my like opera of work. Or would you spend those 6 months out with your friends constantly? Let's say there's no corona, traveling around, living as much as you can, because fuck off what you leave behind. Let's enjoy these and leave like memories for the people who you love, or with the people you love. But you don't know, you're not going to have memories because you're going to be dead.
Yes. Which is, it's an interesting point. A lot of people, like, you know, all of those like self-help books that say like you should live every day of your life like it was your last. I think that's bullshit.
If you did this, you wouldn't be able to make any plans.
I don't know.
Because
I
each
think
day would be a completely hedonistic action.
I mean,
depending who you are.
exactly. I think there's nothing wrong with an hedonistic approach to life, but at the same time, it's not fulfilling per se by itself. What I think is that you need to find the balance that works for yourself. But at the same time, if we as humans, we all knew that life would end like in 6 months' time, we would suddenly become really, really horrible people, all of us.
Yeah.
Or most of us.
As in like incredibly selfish and kind of assholes one to another. Wouldn't you become very kind because you understood that you have to be nice to each other because you only have one
Well,
life and it's going to last 6 months?
Everything comes down to what's the meaning of life in a way. Like, what's the point of you being who you are? And that's the point of this podcast in a way. Like, it's called passing through for a reason. Because, like...
So I didn't even know.
That's great.
Can I wear those glasses now?
Yes, I think you should also share
What
this
is-
live video on your Facebook.
Thanks.
Like,
don't have my
now.
phone with me. It's over there. I
But-
left my phone outside.
Thanks for that sound. Don't you think that don't you want all your friends to know that you're here and they could
I would,
tune
yes,
in and
I'd love my
listen to
friends to watch me talk about stuff.
Perfect.
But
please do
I will.
indulge in like yeah,
I will.
self-promotion.
I will. I have to self-promote more. It's not a thing I do a lot. But I was listening to this other podcast by this guy called Alessandro. He's an Italian. It's about the Medioevo de non credere.
Okay.
He's amazing. You have to listen. He's this old guy from Torino. And okay, he's not actually old. He's like in his 40s.
There's a lot of creative people in Torino.
Yeah,
More than they should be.
it's a good
Like,
spot. It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cool. Like, I don't know. I really liked living in Torino.
So in theory, you still live there, right?
Yeah, all my luggage is there. Literally, like I was watching in a shop today and I understood. I mean, because I've moved house, so I'm unpacking my stuff and I realized, like, okay, I have 2 pairs of pants, 2 jeans that I bought here, like 2 singlet. But like, I really like a limited clothes. That a lot of it I've bought up because I was really with a very small luggage traveling around in Asia when I had to come back here, and I had some winterish stuff, but like super hardcore winterish stuff because I had Western New Year in Beijing to like. I wanted to like close the decade in Beijing where I'd spent so much time with all my friends and it was super lovely. It was an amazing week. And then I jumped to Vietnam to see my family, so I have this like lightish, like this kind of Vietnamese-ish, just light stuff. That also worked in India, so like in the one bag it was a few like hardcore, heavy duty, hundreds of jumpers that I wore for a week, and then like light stuff, and then I popped up here. So like, yes, all of my luggage, my hard drives, most of my stuff.
Are all
Is
of your
that-
clothes black? Like all of them?
No, I have a blue shirt
Just the one.
and one green shirt.
No
And one
wonder I
purple
don't-
shirt that you saw once that is very embarrassing that I only wear usually.
Oh, I remember that. It was pinkish.
It was pale purple and I usually only wear it like in the house, at the beach, like very much like only my family sees me in that shirt.
That
But-
was remarkable.
I actually really like it. It's super comfy.
It looks good.
It's nice, yeah. It's a good color. I wore it when I was a kid. It's a shirt from when I was like 8. Obviously, when I was 8, it was way too big. It was like a dress.
I do have a shirt that I still wear, that I bought when I was 11. Oh, the one with all the holes in it.
Oh, that was your 11-year shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, how old is it? You're good with numbers.
20
I was
years
11.
old. 22 years old.
I'm 34.
23 years old.
So what's with you and black? I went through a black phase of my
It
life. It didn't last
is
long.
very convenient. I used to, in like, let's say, like an undergraduate, when I was here in Australia, I wore many colors, and especially like super colorful pants.
That's
Like
cool.
pants, very flowerful,
Yeah,
very
very circus style.
absolutely, absolutely, stripe-ish, everything. And then when I went to Beijing, I understood I had to make it very good packing, and I was going to take only a small bag, and it was much more convenient to only take the black things and like some headscarves. And I could add color by adding like all belts, or the scarves, but also headscarves. So again, in maybe like circus attitude, I took like 5 different colors of headscarf, and then all just black, mostly black clothes. I mean, some others, and when I was there, obviously I bought different things. But as you grow up, your fashion changes, and because I've changed country every 2 or 3 years since I was 18, you notice each time you do your packing what you're still wearing and what you're not wearing anymore. And of
Yes.
course, you must be traveling light as possible, as less objects as possible, and black just works. So like, and also at some point, like for me, it felt like I like it. I like this postmodern fashion, like this structure and flow, like things that are flowing and then structured and together. And
Can you please elaborate on that?
I mean, it's like life. It's structure and flow. Everything is you build a rough structure, and then from once you've finished to build the structure, you cannot think about it anymore, and you just flow, and it's just easy. So like with the clothes, I don't think what to wear because I already bought like these 5 pieces that I can mix and match and put together in any combination, like a jigsaw, and then I just go. And the things are a little bit flowish, but then if I want, I can tie it up, and then it becomes a different shirt, and then I untie it, and it's flowish again, flowing.
Isn't that limiting?
No,
No.
I don't feel it limiting at all. I mean,
Limiting,
it's limiting in the way the size of your luggage is limiting, or like the weight that you can
well, it
travel.
does. It is.
Of course, but you have to be free within the limitation. Otherwise, you'll go crazy.
So it's all a matter of like compromise, learning how to compromise and accepting that
I think accepting is the good action.
acceptance.
Like in exchange.
Giving up, in other words.
No. In exchange for the possibility to be in motion, I swap the possibility to build up objects. Like now that I'm here in Australia since almost a year, and it's where my family is, it's where my mum is.
How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Actually, I feel pretty good. I never thought that I would say
Australia
this.
is really cool.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, I feel good now here. I didn't think this before. Like it took a long time to arrive to this point. But yeah, no, it's
I mean,
good.
compared to, I don't want to say like Italy or Turin, but compared to Italy, come on. I mean,
You mean like right now or in general?
in general, but right now even more.
No, yeah, no. Right now it's super lucky to be here, absolutely. But I don't know. There are problems here as there are problems everywhere. Like, and maybe you feel it more close to the skin if it's the country you're like from. Like, but yeah,
I can't really even understand how lucky I am, or we are, like living here where basically there's no pandemic, like virtually no pandemic, like because I never experienced what everyone in Italy is experiencing.
you know,
it.
I was just thinking about this the other day. That the Italy that you go back to is
Like
going to
something
be
like
a
this
completely
is
different.
unthinkable right now in Italy.
See, you weren't there, and don't you think that's crazy? That the Italy that you go home to, or like I don't know, any country that friends of mine who are here that aren't from here, wherever they go home to, you go back to Italy,
I'm
It's
not
going to be
doing
a
that, but-
complete, yeah, sure, imagine. But imagine you did, right? Like after the pandemic's over, after you can travel outside Australia and able to get, like when
Yes.
things normalize, you go back there, it's going to be a completely different Italy than what you left behind. But you didn't live through it with them. So
Through
you
the
will, there will
change.
be a disconnect because you were here on this magic island where there was no COVID. You didn't even have the same restrictions. We had it for like 2 months in like April last year and ciao, it's finished.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
It's interesting, but it's the same thing that happens when one of your friends, or like in my case, when I leave, and then I've been traveling for like many, like 12 years, 13 years, or even more.
When
And-
you're traveling, do you sometimes go home and visit your family and
Yes.
pop up?
Yes.
Okay.
But whenever I go back and I visit my family or my friends, I'm like a completely different person than when I left because I go through. Please go nuts.
I'm going nuts. Not sculpture.
I only have
Can I
this
have the almonds?
vase
Yeah,
here
super
just so I
deep.
can say go nuts.
Yeah, I knew you were waiting to say that.
Yeah.
You almost said it before and you were like holding it in to surprise me with the
Yes.
action. Anyway, you're telling a story about traveling.
Oh yeah, basically I'm always a different person. So I go back, but I go through like different stages of changes. So whenever I go back, I'm not the same person anymore. But the people that I leave behind, they're always the same. And no, they don't change.
They think they change. For them, they've changed
Yeah.
within themselves. I mean, because they're also living a life that's in a progression, right? They don't think that their own life is a loop. They think that their life is going forwards. And you know, this year was
But
like
it's
this,
not.
and next year is like that. Yeah, because you left, so you can see with a different image.
Yeah.
But you have to have a little space in your mind to understand that.
Empathy. That
Yeah, to
yeah.
understand from their own perspective.
it's
they've
a quality
grown.
that I seriously lack.
I'm getting that.
in most scenarios. I mean, what's the point of it anyway? Why do you want to feel what another person feels? Like I know that
But
I understand it's a good thing. It
How
can be a
you make
useful
film
thing.
without it? How can you make a film without empathy?
I don't get your point.
Like, okay, remind me never to work for you on set. Ciao.
We haven't worked together much, right? Like at all. I think We just
made
went on a
one thing in the desert.
one shoot that was more of a road trip than anything else.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was amazing. Actually, it would be cool if we can pull up some image of that. But I don't know. Do we have anything on? I don't think. Yeah, all the footage is lost. So
I actually deleted it. I had to make space on my hard drive.
I did the same.
No.
It
I was
wasn't
like,
that
it's
great.
okay. Francesco has it.
Yeah,
I'll just delete
I did this like, oh, I has it. I can delete it.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Shit.
It wasn't
Okay,
that
it's gone.
great. It's
Said it was
gone.
amazing
It was a good
just now.
test.
You can try to do a research on the computer. Do you remember how the files were called?
Tempeste produzione.
Yeah, try to look up Tempeste or Tempesta and see if anything
No,
shows
it's
up.
Tempeste for
but
sure.
I'm kind of sure that I deleted it.
I definitely deleted off one. It might be on another hard drive, but now I know if I find it on that other hard drive, I won't delete it because maybe it's like super rare footage now.
Yeah.
It only
Did
could
we
be.
publish anything on Facebook?
No, we didn't
That's cool.
because we had to like do something with it, like
Yeah, we were supposed to work on it and edit it, and
make something about
and
it.
Julian kept asking about like he wanted to see the
So
footage.
did legal.
Yes, Steven, I need to call him. He called me like 2 or 3 times, and I just ignored his calls.
Mm.
He's not on Facebook, so I'm sure he's not.
But
gonna
speaking
listen
of,
to
I
this
need your
thing.
help on Tuesday. We talked about this.
What?
I need your help on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh yes. So what are we doing on Tuesday? This is
Okay, so-
yeah. Brief me, please.
As you know, you introduced me to Rosanella. Is that her full name? Anyway, Rosie.
What's her name?
I think it's like Rosanella, Rosanita. It's a long name that I would never have thought came.
I thought it was Rosie. Just Rosie.
No. I have to check because I have to credit her according to her full name, which is something like
Rosanella.
that.
Interesting.
I may be making it up because she said it just once to me, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll write it down to me. and
No,
I'll
it's
credit you.
Rosangela. Now I remember.
Rosangela, yes, exactly, yeah. Sorry, Rosie. Rosangela. For me, I'd never heard this name before, so it didn't really
It's
stick
just
in my
like
mind.
Rose and Angela. Like
Yeah, but I've never heard this like combination of
Yeah.
names. Anyway, yeah, so she approached me and she wanted to make a TV series with no time and no funding. So I said no.
That's
But I
fair.
said, but she had pitched me like a little mini story of how like
Shout
she-
out to Rosangela.
Ciao, Rosie. And it was cool. I mean, she's from Torino, which actually made a very big confusion when we were first messaging, because she messaged me and she was like, "Hey."
She thought you were she believed like that you were still in
Right.
Torino while you were
And it's
messaging.
because she messaged me and she's like, "Hi, I'm Rosie. I got your contact from Fra, and
Ramon.
I
Please
got your
don't use
contact
my
from
real name. I'm
Ramon."
not using your real name.
You did use my real name. I'm MJ.
Yes, I
Doesn't matter.
mean,
Anyway,
yes.
The point is, she was like, "Okay, I got your contact from Ramon, and I'm an actress. I'm from Torino. I'm in Sydney, and can I call you later to discuss this project that I have in mind?" And I was like, "Oh, cool." I was at boxing, so I didn't really have time to like slowly answer. I was like, "Cool, that's so funny because I live in Torino and I'm from Sydney, and you're." I mean, I didn't even finish the thing. I just wrote that essentially. Like, I didn't really finish the concept because I assumed that you had told her that I was here. You know, so I didn't
I
need to like
did.
write a long message. I just wrote this like, "Ha ha ha, how funny!" Because I live in. I didn't even say right now. I said normally I live in Torino and I'm from Sydney, and I thought that she could like put together the rest. That like, "Tudum-tsh, we are the opposite of each other, and now we are meeting to make something. Anyway, she didn't do the rest of the work, so she called you frantically, thinking that I was actually in Torino, and you messaged me, being like, "What? Didn't you like her? Why did you tell a lie that you were in Italy right now?" I'm like,
Yeah, I thought
"What's
you
going
didn't
on?
want
I'm
to work with her, and you just told her, "Oh, I'm in Torino. Sorry, I can't help you."
But I love that like you didn't reply her. You first replied me just to check like what's the lie. Like, wait, what are we telling her? Like, can we get the story straight before I reply to her? It's great.
I mean, I try to be a good friend.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, so I started writing essentially a short film, not based on the pitch that she gave me, but me being like, "Oh, cool, here's an actress who wants to be in something. I'll write something," because I've never made a film in Australia before, and this can be really interesting, and it's a good process. I mean, it's nice to make
Except
new
for the
stuff.
footage that we shot on
Except
the
for
dunes that we lost.
exactly. But that was part of this for me. That the reason we went
that
to the
came after.
dunes. No,
No?
they were at the same time. The reason I wanted to go to the dunes since ages, since we met, I wanted to go to the dunes to check it as a location. Remember when we met and you were like, "I have a 4-wheel drive." I'm like, "Good to know. I want to go to the sand dunes." The
Yes.
day that we met, I wanted to go to the sand dunes immediately.
Yeah, you didn't know Rosie back then.
No, and then you introduced me to her, and she wanted to make a thing, and I'm like, "Cool. I would like to make them on those
So
sand
we
dunes I
went to
haven't
the
seen."
dunes after you met Rosie.
We went to the dunes after Rosie contacted me, and it was going to be a location scouting, and you were like, "Why would we just location scout? Let's also shoot something. Let's bring all of these fake Italians."
I remember bits and pieces of this. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Rosie. So anyway, I wrote this thing. It's a short film, and part of it involves the sand dunes, because once we went there, I realized, yeah, it's beautiful there, and it can be amazing to shoot. Obviously, to shoot officially, you need like hundreds of permits and stuff, because it's very protected land, and like anywhere in Australia to shoot, you need permits. Like anywhere in the world to shoot, you need permits. But
Oh, Kyo, actually, if you go to my Facebook and pull up the Tempeste Produzione group chat, you should be able to retrieve some pictures from that day. That's like,
there's some
As good as it
pictures.
gets?
Yeah, yeah. It was a good day shooting, because my friend Eloise came, who's a very good singer,
yes.
and she
How
came.
is she?
She's good. She's good. She came to be a fake Italian, but then we had to acknowledge that she was French and that she was like what was it? Like a logistics manager, something like this. Anyway, yeah. So back to this thing with Rosie. We shot half of the film last year. That was all on location, not in Sydney, because I realized if you don't have any money to make a film, you should not shoot inside because it can look very, very cheap.
Yes.
So, and the thing that's very amazing in Australia that I don't have when I'm in Europe is amazing nature
Landscape,
locations,
yes.
landscapes. So I was like, cool, let's use what's here. Let's use what's super special to me. Let's make it not look like Australia, so it looks like Bosnia, in the sense that it's like very grey and rainish and a bit broken down and things are contaminated and it's very heavy.
Because you did live in ex-Yugoslavia,
In
like,
Bosnia, in Herzegovina, in Sarajevo.
in between China and
Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, that's a little
Okay.
sandwich moment.
Sandwich moment.
Yeah.
Best moments.
It was, yeah, very intense moment, but no, very good. But yeah, so we shot there, but we didn't have Rosie because at the last minute she got booked for something else.
So she wanted to shoot the film, but then she wasn't there on set.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the things happen, maybe.
No, to be fair, it happens when everyone's just working for free. The problem a little bit.
Yeah, but not when you're the creator of the, or the promoter of the. I mean,
when it's your idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, that it had become my idea. So when she asked me to do it as a TV series, it was her idea, and when I came back to her, I was like, okay, but we're gonna do it as my film in my way with this story. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, that looks good.
How
Yes.
nice, the sand dunes. Ah, that's the Tin City. That's a really crazy place we shot there.
Yeah, which reminded me. I went to a place called Slab City in California, in the middle of the desert, and it's a place where like not even the police goes because like it's populated by a bunch of criminals, basically.
Wow.
But I mean, not really criminals, just people who don't care about the law.
Wow.
But they're actually super friendly.
What was the vibe here? This is what I didn't realize. Oh, well, that's right, because we were interviewing fishermen.
Yes, for some reason we went to the sand dunes by the water, by the ocean, and we were interviewing random fishermen, asking them questions that meant nothing, and then we deleted that footage.
Yeah, a project
an
in
experience.
nothingness. No, it's a good project. But literally, it was like, that's the production design for my film. I was looking at the footage as a reference of how do I want to shoot in the dunes. Like, it was exactly what it was meant to be, which was location scouting. I mean, we
Yeah.
thought it was a real thing.
This guy
but
was cool.
He was cool, yeah.
He
He was
didn't-
nice. He was saying some things about the environment that I really liked.
Yes.
Yeah, he was nice.
And now all is lost.
It's not lost. I think I have it on another hard drive. It's not for sure
Okay.
lost.
We need to make sure. I might have something. Can you actually check on the potato?
Okay, it doesn't matter now.
No, I'm curious. There is another drive
Okay,
called
back to
potato that
Tuesday.
it's on
It's
the
really
desktop.
important. Okay, so on Tuesday, the really important thing that I need you to help with. So we shot everything without Rosie, and now we need to do all of the pickups with Rosie, right?
Yes.
But because one of the scenes is like the main dialogue and acting scene of the film, obviously we're not going to shoot it without her. So there's one scene that we actually waited to shoot. So it's got the other actor, because a lot of the stuff we shot the other actor just himself, and the counter shot we're going to do with Rosie. So it's a little bit cheating. But this scene I didn't want to cheat because it's an important scene. So that's on Tuesday. And it's in a location that if we walk there, it takes 20 minutes. But if we get dropped off there by car, it's like 5 minutes the other way because there's a road. So your job will be to literally like hang out and have a coffee.
I can do that, but I don't drink coffee. It's a
Okay, I
problem
will shout
already.
you literally any kind of juice food. So at the beginning, it's going to be we all meet in a car park. We park the car that we arrive in, and we hop into your car. You drop us off with the equipment. You go away, you have your coffee / lunch / do whatever you want in 5 hours. After like doing all the work that you need to do, you can have a swim, do whatever you want. When I message you, you come and pick us up again.
So
And that's the
basically, I'm a
work.
driver.
You're the driver, yeah. But I would like to call you unit base, because at some point in the middle, we might be like, damn it, I wish I had like an energy bar. And then I can call you like, Ramon? Is that your
I think
thing?
I will.
We need an energy bar. Can you come and get us? Or if it's like pouring with rain, for example,
Yes.
to be like, can you please come and rescue us?
I
Like
think I
this.
will bring a driver. Like I can have my car at disposal, and I will bring someone else to drive it, so I can enjoy everything else.
Do you want to come on set?
Not really. I want
Oh.
to go to the beach.
Ah, no, yeah, totally. Do literally like however way you want to do it. That's totally fine. But I just realized that it can be super helpful to have someone drop us off. And I was gonna say bring us lunch, but I actually just might make sandwiches because then we're like super
I don't-
independent.
I
But
like
if you'd like
cooking, I
to bring
can-
us lunch, then you can
Yes,
also bring us
no.
lunch to have another job to do. I might make some emergency sandwiches just in case. I don't know how the phone reception is there. But oh yeah, it was really fun. When we were shooting here, I had one of the guys who was working with us, a really fun guy called Marco Toscano, who had amazing walkie-talkies. So we could be like very, very, very far away from each other, like really, really good walkie-talkies. And after this, I realized I need to walkie-talkie my life.
There are cool gadgets. I'm staring at the AC because it's getting kind of warm in here.
Okay. But yeah, no, the walkie-talkie is just this action that you can be like.
What's that, Kyo?
Oh, good. Continue.
Thanks.
No, yeah, I just love the action, and I know mobile phones are similar, but they're not quite the same. And yeah, Every
Yeah,
time,
it's,
every time I use walkie-talkies, I get back into this like fanatic obsession with walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies are cool.
That's super cool.
They remind me a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s, which I love.
Like what? What's your favorite movie from the 80s and 90s?
I don't
What's
know,
the
all
piece
of
that's
them.
missing?
Indiana Jones.
Oh, like adventure movies.
Yeah, Back to the
Yeah,
Future, The Goonies. I mean, all of them.
No, they are nice. They are fun film. I'm looking for the piece that missed.
I would say don't worry about it because it's like these glasses were given to me by a very horrible person. They come from Switzerland.
Did Legal give you them? I thought you liked Legal.
No, I like him. I like him. Steven. Steven is amazing. Steven is a very good friend.
You're supposed to use the code name.
Legal. Legal is a good friend. But the bitch of my ex, she's not a good person. And
Sorry, the bitch of your ex?
No,
Or
no, no.
the bitch who is your ex? Because if
Who
your
is.
ex also has a bitch, that's amazing.
I'm sure she has. She does.
Just putting it out there.
Yes, she is a bitch, and she probably has many bitches under
Okay.
her. Like it's like a pyramid scheme of bitches. But
These ladies in like suburbia selling each other different Tupperware. This is my image of a pyramid scheme.
selling Tupperware.
Yeah, like you know this classic pyramid scheme that it's like ladies in suburbia who are like, okay, here's this Tupperware, and if you go out and you sell the Tupperware, then you get to make extra money. I mean, I actually don't know how a pyramid scheme works, but I researched it one time, and the case study it gave was this. Anyway, sorry.
The
back
one
to
I know
your-
from Italy, they
your
sell
ex's
vacuum
bitch.
cleaners. They used to, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I'm just pointing out that those glasses, if they get destroyed, I don't really care because they come from a very horrible memory.
But I have to say, like, maybe you shouldn't put them out during a podcast, but put them out during, like, a wild party or something. Because, I mean, how often do podcasters, like, pick up a glass and throw it? Because, you know, it's full of liquid and there's lots of machinery around.
Yes.
But if you really, like, really thinking about it, also there's, like, a cemetery around. Just, like, put them there, put some flowers in them. People can take them. Like, we can think of some creative solutions if you want to get rid of these glasses, is what I'm
I
saying.
don't really want
Okay.
to get rid of them, but I wouldn't mind if they accidentally get damaged, like it's happening right now. It's totally fine. You don't
Okay.
have any sunglasses? Okay. What else? What else? What's your next film? So what stage is this film right now? Like the one with Rosie?
The Rosie film, can you still hear me if I don't have my headphones? Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
it-
I just
yeah.
can't hear me.
Yeah,
That's
you
cool.
can hear me as well, I guess.
That's right, I can hear you in real life. Whoa, that's weird. Real time. The film is, we're about to shoot next week, the last little segment. And then I have to do the post-production. And I think I'm going to try and apply for funds. But,
Do you have any footage that we can have a look at? Like
Mm.
online?
no.
Fantastic. Did you bring any?
Yeah, I have the entire hard drive with all the shoot on it in my bag there.
Yes,
Do you want it?
please.
Right
Let's have a
now?
look. Why not?
Okay, I'm going to pee at the same time. Did
Fantastic.
I say that?
Kyo, what's going on that side? Hello?
Hello, hello, hello there.
So that's Kyo. He's gonna be the host of a fantastic new. Oh, that's Julian dancing. You found the footage. Where
Yes.
was that?
I was in your potato hard drive.
Fantastic. I didn't delete it then.
No, you did not. This
So
is
this
amazing.
shot is actually super cool because Julian is dancing samba in the middle of the desert, and then, in theory, this is not the one where the drone pans out. But if you pull up the other one,
So it's not deleted.
it's not deleted.
Right.
I'm sort of surprised / disappointed.
I don't even know. Which one do we pull out?
So the one right before or after this, probably after this, it's a nice drone shot where we can actually see the location we were shooting at. Do we have any comments from viewers by any chance?
We do have some comments.
For commercial purposes, yes, you cannot do that. It's very. What? Sure, I don't know what to. Oh, just give it to him, and we're gonna find a way to connect it at some point.
Alright.
Molto bene, molto bene. So I was saying, Kyo is gonna be the host of a fantastic new show, podcast. Not pod. Is it gonna be a podcast? No, it's gonna be just like.
It can be a podcast or videocast, whichever, you know.
Yes,
one.
it's gonna be a kitty cast.
It's called Red Hot Kitty Cast.
So for all of you cat lovers, stay tuned because in about a week or maybe 5, we don't know yet,
2, maybe. Yes.
maybe 2, we're gonna release this new amazing content, which is gonna be, I don't know, just involving cats.
It's gonna
I don't
be
wanna
red
spoil too much.
Hot. That's what it is.
Red hot kitty cast. So one of these videos, in theory, there is a nice drone shot. We're wasting a lot of time just trying to find it. It's probably this one, but maybe just skip to the end of it because it's not that great at this point. Yes. Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah. So Julian is a very good. Besides being a mathematician, Julian is gonna be on the show in a few weeks' time. And besides being a fantastic dancer, he's also a mathematician and a computer programmer and a bread maker. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about. This place was amazing. Do we have any comments by any chance? Eloise is listening.
Yes, we do.
So-
We have.
Anything worth reading
Yes.
out loud?
Gotta fix the buds.
Yes, gotta fix the buzz. So the thing with the buzz is that it was not buzzing until we went live, and then it started buzzing as soon as we went live. So there must be something wrong in the wiring, in the connection, in the, I don't know. We'll sort it out next time. The last time I spoke to Eloise, Emma, she said, there was a comment on my new hairstyle. She just said hot. And then she corrected herself saying, your haircut is hot, not you. That was interesting.
Right.
Thanks for clarifying, Eloise.
I found the stick. It was behind my ear.
Right.
Okay, so I understood the situation of the hard drive of the
Fantastico.
film that I'm working on now.
I'm really curious to have a look at.
It
Did you
looks
edit a
super cool.
trailer or anything?
No, not yet. I want to finish it because I need her. I mean, it's so much about her and her journey that, yes, like the first piece of shooting was putting this figure of her, who played by, thank you, Eloise, in the landscape. But without her body, I will not make a trailer. So now we will shoot her because the physicality is very strong. I mean, she's touching the things, she's there, it's her memories, it's her face, it's her eyes, it's her. So after now, I can now make a trailer. Not now, but after next week.
Let's have a look
But,
at some of that footage.
Let's have a look.
Raw player. That's what it says.
What?
R-A.
Yeah, it's Black Magic. I don't know. Can you play it? It's Black Magic Raw. Anyway,
Try it with VLC. I'm not sure.
I think you need a special player to play it.
It's playing.
Ah, cool. Oh yeah, so this, okay, go back and play one that's not this one, because this is like the most boring one of all of them. But this is a nice example of what we had to do without the actress. Because she wasn't actually there, we had to make the main costume to be the raincoat. So this is as close as we ever got from behind. A lot of it is like this, like POV, like dreamy. Go a bit forward to, there's some with a man in it. So this particular...
Whenever I hear the word POV, it just reminds me of porn.
Well, okay, now watch this one. This is a little bit pornish, in the sense that he makes eye contact with the camera. That you're like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
He's nice though. He was.
So he's actually playing with the role that Giovanni had on the actual day that we went shooting.
No,
or
no, no.
something.
He is a character. He is the father of the main character.
No, yeah, but my point is that, like, this reminds me of the footage that we shot with Giovanni in it.
Except that he's watching to the camera.
Yes.
Except not in this one. But yeah, so he is this same guy, Hugh, he's playing the father of Rosie, but at the same time, he's also like this junkie character who's there by the lake. And she gets freaked out because this guy who she sees by the lake looks exactly like her father. And she's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, who is this man? Why does he look exactly like my dad? But it's a lot of the stuff that we shot that day is very like this, like pieces of reflection or like poetic or like little corners of his arm. Because in her memory of him, she never actually fully sees him. She just sees like little corners of his body, like a piece of leg or a piece of shoulder or something.
How do you feel with, like, this is something that most people, like directors and creators and filmmakers, would not do. How do you feel like with sharing raw footage from whatever is going to be your film without having even like a draft cut or an idea of how it's going to look like, or even you still don't know if you're going to actually finish it?
Bello.
Yes, it's molto
nice.
bello, yes.
Because it's nice. I mean, I like this footage. I chose a folder that I liked.
Good
and
choice.
The
Who's
shots,
the actor?
This guy, Hugh, a friend of my sister's, who he's great. He's in a band. He's the band that I showed you, the Pajama Sundays.
Oh yes, they're actually cool.
Yeah, so he's great. He's and he was helping on set, but doubling up as the actor in this like memory stuff, which was great. Yeah, and this is a metal detector that I bought, so he's metal detecting. Looking for
So
the
on Tuesday nights, maybe I didn't tell you, we're gonna have every second Tuesday. We're gonna have like a
Not a
jam
game night.
session night.
a jam session. Okay.
Yes. And the idea is to have like some returning like people that are musicians that are gonna be here all the time every second Tuesday, but inviting like other musician every time, and it would be cool to have some of them.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yes,
I'll ask
that's
him.
very
I'll ask
cool.
him this week. He's helping again on the shoot, so I can ask him. He's he's
Fantastic,
really
cool.
really cool. Super happy to be introduced to him. He's a friend of my sister, and she was on this set as well. So yeah, it was fun. But yeah, normally I would be like, no, because we're just gonna then like see this for only 2 seconds and then we cut away. But with this footage, it's almost the opposite. In whatever edit that I make, each shot was so beautiful. Like if you go through, I mean, it feels stupid to say this about your own shots, but it was just, we were lucky that the sun was setting on the water, which you don't really get on the east coast of Australia. But somehow
Yeah,
the
not
sun
really.
was setting on the water, so we got super
Where
lucky.
was that? I really want to go there.
Up north.
That's a bit vague.
Okay, when we're off air, I'll tell you the special location. It's
I
a
want
really
to
good
see the
spot.
sunset.
It's
I haven't
like
seen a proper sunset in ages. In 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because the sun doesn't set on the water on this side of the, like,
yeah.
of
No,
the
except
country.
here. I mean, again, it didn't quite set on the water, but it's a lake that is
Oh.
facing. It's like a peninsula like this, no? So you have the ocean side, a different one. This is a bit poetical. There's a bit later, Q. There's some more sunsetish ones. It should be in that same one. Otherwise, it's within that same folder. I can find it.
This side of Australia is fantastic for sunrises, but
Yeah, but who's awake for the sunrise? Unless you sleep all the way through.
I am. I wake up very early. I developed this habit of waking up super early, like 6-ish, and going to sleep at 9 p.m., which is very not Italian. I'm like really not Italian anymore. What's going on? I feel abandoned here. Any new comments?
New comments.
I'm curious to see, like, I want to invite people who are
Nikhil
watching.
says he's watching Love Heart.
Oh, without the heart, it would have been creepy. Like, I'm watching. Like,
This is Beachy Dad.
any questions for him? For Emma? MJ? Ma.
Emma's my secret name that no one knows, but thanks.
But now everyone
Now
knows.
everyone knows.
Probably those like 7 viewers.
7 viewers are gonna be like,
And I'm
"Whoa,
being-
what the fuck?
I'm being very optimistic with that number.
We have a question.
Fantastic.
Is it normal to drink beer during interview in Australia?
This is not an interview. I don't drink, but now I'm drinking.
I also don't drink. Famously.
Why are we drinking?
He gave me a beer. I asked for a beer.
Yeah, I felt
I
like
was hungry.
weird, like not drinking while you were drinking. So yeah,
Oh, you didn't have to feel weird. I could have drunk by myself.
I generally never drink. Who asked that question?
It is Gil, S-C-H.
Gil.
Gilsh.
Gilsh.
But that's why you should have given me an Australian beer, so it could be like an Australian action.
Is this Australian beer?
Mm.
Belgian white.
BB.
I don't think I have any Australian beer. I only have Corona,
You did. I drank it before.
which is pretty iconic. Like it kind of represents the fact that I don't drink beer. Having the fridge full of Coronas is like he
Classic.
doesn't know shit about beer.
Yeah. Like my
Um,
mom, she tried to buy Corona the other day. It's like, what are you buying? Why are you doing this?
I drink wine. The only thing I drink
no,
is
for
wine.
Sure, yeah.
90% of the time red. So this means that during summer, I never drink any alcohol except for this beer now.
When I was in Palermo,
You've been to Palermo?
the first thing I did when I got there was I met this friend of my friend who I'd never met before. So, okay, a little bit of context. The reason I went to Sicily was to meet my best friend. But instead of just traveling with me, he's a best friend from Beijing. He's Colombian.
Okay.
And instead of just coming to meet me, he announced that he was coming to meet me in Sicily. And so, like, 3 other people wanted to get in on that road trip. So he wasn't meeting just me, he was meeting me and, like, 2 other people who could also make it. So we were going to be 4 traveling around Sicily, which for me was fine because I can't drive very well. He can't drive at all. So we were just checking, like, can these 2 extra people coming drive? Yes, they can. Cool. They're going to be the drivers, so we can hire a car. Otherwise, we would make a trip in Sicily by, like, catching a train to Marsala and around, which would have been fun and a different kind of adventure.
Definitely.
But
It's quite an experience. I think you should have tried it.
I really wanted to. That was like
Traumatic.
that was the thank you. But that was the main idea. Was or maybe like someone could help us, or we catch it, somehow get to the port and go to these islands like the Aeolian Islands, something like this. But
That's cool.
because we had the possibility of a car, the plan changed. Anyway, I arrived. He
Oh,
hadn't
you've been
arrived
lucky.
yet.
Just
Pardon?
you've been lucky.
It was interesting.
You would have had the story to tell, but it
I
would
still have a
not.
story to tell.
Okay, let's
Because
hear
in
it.
any case, it's Sicily, so things happen. But anyway, the first thing I did was I arrived and went to the Airbnb where my friends had lent to us, which was lovely of them. Another group of friends from Beijing. And I met this Spanish guy who was the friend of my friend. And I'd never met him before, but there he is. And I had just come from Torino. So I arrived there and I'm like, okay, we have to buy the groceries for the house immediately. And I don't know if you notice this because you're Italian, but if ever you go to a supermarket with Italian men, it's a very interesting experience because they go into their imagination and they take over and they go like every aisle, at least like these friends that I had would like every aisle of the supermarket, they'd be like, let's cook this with this. No, but let's cook this with this. And it's like, they go so deep into the imagination of what they're going to cook that they don't take anything off the shelf, but they go very, very deep into discussion. And then they finally take
kinda
like
do that.
one thing off the shelf. Like, no, but this pasta's not going to go with the sauce we imagined. And then they start everything again. So it's very slow. Let's say this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know. So that's where I had just come from. So I arrived there, and because I'm actually, I'm a foreign, I'm not Italian, and he wasn't Italian either, but because I'd just come from there, I was kind of trying to like recreate that experience, but obviously like with zero knowledge. So we went to the wine section, I'm like, maybe we should take this. I'm like, no, we should take that. Okay, in the end, we bought Nero d'Avola, but like a massive, massive thing of it in like summer in Sicily. Like it must have been July. Nero d'Avola is like the heaviest, most hardcore, heavy
It's very
red
good,
wine
but it has a very
ever.
strong taste and
Yeah, but come on, for July when it's like 40
Yeah, no.
degrees, it's like there's 1 month a year in Sicily when you want to buy it, and it's the one. At least I found out later they're mixing it with the other wines to give it a bit of body.
like a
to-
blend.
Yes, normally you don't drink pure Nero d'Avola. So we got it, and my
I mean,
friends saw it, and they were like,
in Italy, in Sicily, you do, but I mean, yeah.
I don't
know, I
they
get
they
your
just
point.
told me this later. But yeah, my friends saw it and they're like, sorry, do you want to pass out? Like, why did you buy this? And we bought like a massive bottle because I was showing off to the Spanish guy that like I knew about Italy, but I knew nothing. Because yeah, my supermarket experience had been like essentially like observing people go obsessively deep into discussion about. Anyway, yeah, that was my beginning of Sicily adventure. A massive.
What do you think about
headache.
Sicily after that experience? How many times have you been
Just
there?
once.
Just once.
It
was
was a
enough.
long trip, but
I'm
no,
sure.
I really want to go back. I really would. love to
Why?
go
Why
back.
would you do that?
I'm not from there.
Said the Sicilian.
Um,
Yeah.
Granita. Oh no, I did
That's
go
a
back.
good reason.
I did go back, and the next time I went back, I was working for a film festival, so I had free access to Granita, and it was amazing. Like, I already knew Granita was amazing, but
There's
now...
one good thing about Sicily.
Yeah, no, it's... the food is very good. Actually, I don't like this...
Actually, Kyo loved Sicily.
I loved Sicily. It was such a great place.
It's
And but the driving part, Ramon's driving was a bit very questionable. I was getting sick at the back. But
classic Sicily driving.
I mean, I love driving. Yeah, and let's say I have my driving style, and some people are not. Most people are not used to it, so they might get like car sick. It's fine. It's Sicilian driving. It's alright.
Yeah, this guy who was driving insanely slowly. And I mean,
That's dangerous.
that's what I said. Literally, that's what I said. I was like, as the backseat driver, obviously not driving myself, I was like, you know, in Italy, the safest thing is to go the rhythm of the traffic. Because if you're too slow, one, everyone starts to get pissed off, so they start to get angry at you. And two, like, anywhere where you drive, you should go the rhythm of the traffic. Normally, like, it's like a safe bet, even if it's technically over the speed limit that got told to you. But this guy was like famously under the speed limit, like 20k under what he was supposed to be, and then everyone else was 20k over, so we were like 40k slower than everyone else. And yeah, it felt very dangerous. And then we accidentally went the back way to this town, and you know how in Sicily you have some of these towns that are like on the mountain at the top,
Yes.
and so you have a road that goes like this, like hairpin bends all the way up. Well,
I love that.
apparently they had built a new highway on the other side that went straight, but our Google Maps didn't take us there. So we're
So
going
which
up.
town are you talking about? Is this Erice by any chance?
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so
I
nice.
used to have this habit with a friend of mine, like he's anyway, I used to have this habit of taking this super old car and with no
And
power
going the old
steering-
road.
and going the old road,
Oh,
but like
that road
speeding
is
like crazy on
insane.
these blind sharp turns
No.
and just drifting there. It was like every time I would come back to Sicily, we would do that like as a ride, like it was like
That's
a
insane. That road is so scary.
yeah.
But especially because like this guy didn't know how to drive manual, and we're in a manual car, and
I
like
mean,
we're going
if you
up
don't know
this
how to drive
fucking
manual, you don't
hill.
know how
and
to drive. I think.
that's a fair call. Anyway, I don't know how to drive, so I cannot really comment.
You don't drive at all.
No, I have a license,
Very uncomfortable.
and I have a license. I just don't like driving.
Why not?
I don't know the rules, so I feel very dangerous when I'm
How
also,
did you get the license in the first place?
Well, I mean, at some point I knew the rules, and in the meanwhile I forgot them. You know, Like, you don't drive for. I was moving around. You know, no. But to be honest, I much prefer to drive manual because in Italy I was learning. Let's say like a friend was making me drive around, and it was really good. In the automatic car, I start to fall asleep, and it feels not fall asleep, but it feels fake. Like it feels like Mario Kart. I feel so detached from what's going on the other side of the screen because it feels I'm watching a screen, and this thing on the screen is fake. So when I drive, I feel like I'm pretty dangerous because it
Okay.
doesn't feel real. And
Interesting.
when I'm driving manual, I'm at least more engaged. Like I'm more connected to the car. I feel that we're going, and then I'm putting it in the gear that it needs to be, and I'm talking with the car, and so I'm more connected to the process.
Imagine driving a Tesla then, where the car does everything for you, and
But that's what automatic feels like, and I'm super dangerous with that. So on a Tesla, I would literally be like asleep. But yeah, I in
You
some
can do
ways
that
I
in a
don't drive
Tesla.
because I feel dangerous. I feel too dangerous on the road. But I would love to drive a motorbike. It's like my dream. And I feel this I would be able to drive because I would be fucking awake because you have the wind in your face and you're there and it's real, you know?
I
you're not
did fall asleep on
disconnected.
driving a motorbike.
Really?
I used to have a motorbike. It was Kawasaki Ninja.
Do
And
we have a picture of a Kawasaki Ninja?
I think if you open photos, you should find a picture of me with a white leather jacket on, like on my Kawasaki Ninja when I was like 20 something.
Okay.
That's pretty embarrassing. So I hope you don't find it, and I'm regretting telling you about it.
What does it look like, a Kawasaki Ninja? Like, I just want the image.
It's just
of
like a sport bike.
like a simple bike.
Yeah, like a big black. Not that. What's that? This is the picture that a friend of mine took. I was in Portugal, in Lisbon,
And what
And
happened? Like you lost all your luggage and you're freaking out.
no, I lost. So I was competing in jiu-jitsu, and
You're like devastated.
yes. So basically, I went to Lisbon for the European Championship, Jiu-Jitsu European Championship, and while I was there, I got a phone call from my ex from Milan, who was breaking up with me over the phone just like 10 minutes before the match.
Is she the one that gave you the glasses?
No, I'm talking about another ex. Anyway, I got just smashed. Like I went on the mat, the guy just like destroyed me in 5 seconds, and I went back to the room, and I was just like, and my friend just took a nice picture of me being sad.
No.
It was alright. It was 2015, I think.
Do
Anyway.
but do you have any pictures of you or like video of you doing jiu-jitsu? Because this is such a weird sport. I
Yes.
mean, no judgment on it. It's very, I mean, I don't care. But just from what I've watched of it, it seems so strange, this sport. You're just rolling around and pulling each other, and it's,
Yeah, this is me with my super cool
Which one are you?
sensei
You're the
teacher.
hair one, I
I'm the
guess.
one with the hair, yeah. So the one in the middle is Sergio Marciano. Shout out to Sergio. He's the best jiu-jitsu instructor in Italy. Like it's I just
Literally? Or
in
according to
Sicily.
you?
I just find like
Okay.
super good training with him.
Yeah, nice.
And the other guy is Giuliano, so-called Tornagano or something like that. We used to have nicknames that I forgot. Anyway,
How old are you in this image?
I'm not sure, but we're not with the Cyclone Academy anymore. Now we're a different academy, and I'm with an even differenter academy because now I'm in Australia. Anyway,
Evidently. So you're still doing jiu-jitsu?
this is a sensitive topic. I hope nobody from the gym where I was training tuned in.
Gossip!
So basically, what happens with my jiu-jitsu is that for me, like I do a lot of jiu-jitsu and a lot of rock climbing, and jiu-jitsu is, I like it even better than rock climbing. It just gives me life. Like after I finish a session of jiu-jitsu, I could die happily. Like it's just like I'm at peace. But
After
I'm
rolling on the floor, pulling at the clothes of other men.
yes,
Okay. Bravo.
yes, but there are certain things I'm very particular about. I need to like the instructor, like their style of teaching and their ethics, and
Because
they-
they're teaching you as you do it, like they're yelling out like, do this, or you're doing exercises. Like what does it look like, a typical session at the end of which you can die happy?
It starts
Very
with a
briefly.
warm up, then studying techniques, and then rolling. And they're yelling at you during the
entire
whole
time.
process.
Okay,
so
okay,
it's
okay.
fine.
So the coach is like very present in the entire thing.
They should be. If they're
Okay,
good, they
okay,
are.
cool.
And the guy I was training with, James Dean, that's his name. He's actually a super good teacher, and that's the reason why I started training with him. But as I told him the very first day I went there, I'm sure they're gonna be destroyed by the time we finish this podcast.
These or these?
Both of them. So I went for a trial in another school, and they told me that I could not use my gi. So the gi is the uniform, like the thing that you put on to train.
What country is it from, jiu-jitsu?
Traditionally
Korea.
Japan,
Okay.
but what I'm doing is Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is completely different. Like it comes from there, but it's very different. Anyway, I don't like the concept of like conforming, and like we're not soldiers. We should not wear the same gi just to promote the school. Like if you want to do it, it's fine, but they should not force you to buy. Why are you pulling up random pictures for this? I was like 21 in this thing, and I was doing parkour.
Are you posing on a pole?
No, it was like a 3 or 4 meters tall wall that I just climbed because I was young and stupid.
Tell me about your history of sports that are a little bit different. So you did jiu-jitsu and climbing and parkour. What
Rock
else have you-
climbing and jiu-jitsu I still do. Parkour I did it for like 8 years. I was teaching it for 4 years.
You a parkour people teach parkour, people pay to learn parkour.
Yes.
Wow.
We started a parkour school. After training parkour for about 4 years, me and a group of friends, we used to go like travel around Europe to meet up all the like creators of the parkour movement, like David Bell and Sebastian Foucan, like people who are like professional stuntmen in like Hollywood movies and stuff like that.
So, sorry, parkour came from stuntmen riding around doing their stunts
Sort
in
of.
the urban environment.
There's
Like,
the
what's
Yamakasi or Yamakashi or whatever they're called. There's different like the movement originated, but I think that the two guys who are attributed with the creation of the actual parkour movement are David Bell and Sebastian Foucan. I'm not sure.
Sorry, did you see that?
Yes, that was pretty cool. I hope it was on camera.
No.
Try again. Try again. Good on you. This is a like
2 in a row.
100% circus. Like I can see the circus like running in your veins, in your blood. Anyway, I lost track of my train of
You were
thoughts.
talking about parkour, but actually the real story you were telling was about the clothing involved in jiu-jitsu.
Yes. So I like wearing my. This is me getting an award for a short film in 2008 from Root.
Oh, stop showing off!
I mean, I'm not pulling up the pictures. Kio, stop pulling up random pictures.
Well, what's interesting, there's different story behind this.
Yes, that's Rutger Hauer. It's like he was an amazing actor. He was the lead actor of movies like Lady Hawk. Have you ever watched that?
I heard of it.
Okay.
Have you?
I have heard of it.
Okay. What's the plot?
I didn't hear about the plot. I just heard the name.
Heard the title. Yeah. He was the evil guy in Blade Runner, the original movie, the original film.
Wait, the one who says, "I have seen." If you could see what I have seen with your eyes,
I've seen things that you humans cannot even imagine, or something like that.
with the very blue eyes,
With
he's
very blue
crying
eyes.
at the end
Yes,
in the rain.
that guy. That
He's
guy.
so beautiful.
Yes, and
That's
now
him.
it's so old, and now it's actually dead. But he was a super
I
cool
remember
guy.
when he died because I became a bit sad.
Yeah, me too.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Wow, you met
In
him.
Milan.
He touched you in Milan.
Yeah, he actually dragged me out of stage because I was a bit confused by the whole
I see now in
dynamic.
his face the Blade Runner character.
Yeah, like the smirk that he has, like
yeah.
what is this guy
Yeah,
doing?
shit.
Like just yeah. So he just grabbed my arm and dragged me out of stage. But
Are you wearing
b-
makeup?
No, I'm not. But before doing that, before kicking me out of stage, he was actually awarding me with a prize, which
Huh.
was pretty cool. Okay.
Back to jiu-jitsu clothing,
Back to
and you're not
jiu-jitsu
supposed to wear the
clothing.
uniform
Yes.
of the club of something.
So I didn't start training at a certain jiu-jitsu school, and I went to this other one, the one where this guy James Dean is the teacher, and I told him on the very first day I went for a trial to these other guys, and the reason why I didn't join them is because they wanted to force me to buy one of their gis. Since I don't like that rule, because I have my gis, right? And I kind of you buy gis for different reasons, like because you like the style, because you like me like to waste money, but also because when you go on competitions and you need to weight yourself, you want something that weights less so you can weight more, and you know what I mean? Like if
What's the
So if
story?
the- if the
but
category is
you
like-
want to be weighed more, or you want to weigh
no,
less? Like,
if you're
what's
allowed to
your
weight
objective?
maximum 70 kilos, for instance, and your gi weighs 2 kilos,
You want to be essentially as naked as possible to get close as you can in strength
Yes.
to the weight. Yeah.
so you want to get a gi as light as possible so you can be as strong as possible. But anyway, I have a collection of gis because I'm stupid, and I like to use them. At the same time, I don't like the whole concept of conforming and being seen like we're all the same, we're soldiers in a way. I just don't like the concept of having people that look the same.
Mm.
So I told him like I didn't join that gym because they have this stupid rule. So I'm joining your gym because you're a cool guy. I like the style after the first trial session. I like the style, like how you teach, and the style of your jiu-jitsu is like very about like your being able to use your weight. And this is not very common because it's very old school, but it was super cool because I used to train in a completely different style. Anyway, I had a lot to learn from that. So I joined them, and after like 4 months, roughly, they introduced this like, you need to buy our gis now, and I was like, come on, really? Like, fuck that. And the guy was like, it's not me introducing this rule. It's like the actual head master of the whole. They have like 4 or 5 different schools under the same name brand. And he was like, yeah, like I understand why they are doing this, and you need to do it now.
Mm.
But the thing is,
So
the only
then we
reason why
change.
they do it is just to make more money. Like there is no real reason why you could not wear just a patch with their logo on your actual gi.
Mm.
So it's just like they want to sell you like for $200 or whatever a gi that is worth like probably 20 and just make
Because
more money.
skis are expensive.
The ones that I have, yes.
Jujitsu.
Now, this is interesting. The other day we watched this movie with Kyo and Julian, and this movie
Wait,
is
do Kyo and Julian know anything about jujitsu?
no, but
Okay.
neither this movie. This is pretty remarkable. It's a Nicolas Cage movie.
That's
And
Nicolas Cage.
yes, the one with the guy with the long beard and long
Yeah.
hair.
The girl on the left looks like a girl I knew in Beijing. With this blondish hair going forwards.
Maybe it's her.
I don't think it's her, but it looks like her.
This movie has literally nothing to do with jujitsu. Nothing to
just
do
like
with
the name.
anything. Like
Oh,
you
really?
cannot understand the plot. At some point they go like, this is not about plutonium anymore. But that was never about plutonium since then. And it was like, that's my favorite quote from the film.
There's no mention of plutonium until that point of the
There's an
movie.
amazing film that was recommended by one of the teachers that came to my school that he's Thai, and in the 80s or 70s in Thailand they were watching this instead of Star Wars, and it's like Star Wars, Star Trek, but it's called like Star Blade or like Star something, but not Star Wars or Star Trek, and it's something similar. And we watched it and it's insane. It's like similar like this, like one of these spoof spin-off movies that were being made at like the spoof sci-fi of the 80s, and for some reason all the women always have to be in bikinis on this one particular planet that they were visiting. So like they arrive to the planet, it's like, oh, suddenly everyone's in bikinis. Oh, okay, cool.
It's a good
Then-
habit.
I mean, then they go to a different planet, and there's like another thing I can't remember what, but yeah, it reminds me a bit of this. Like there are these turns of the plot that you're like, wait, I didn't know we were even in that place, and now we're going in and wait, what? Right, it's amazing. It's a very, I mean, it's a nice process to be inside this kind of film.
Yes, I think
Very-
being part of the creation of a very stupid, cheap movie is cool.
But
But
also to be part of the watching it can be pretty fun. You have to be in the right headspace.
Yes.
Let's say.
meaning
a
stoned.
Sharknado.
Sharknado, yeah, that's a really cool series of films. But I think it would be more. I never watched them because I find it just like But I
But would
think
you make one
working
like
on them,
this?
yes, like working on them must be just amazing.
But this is the kind of cinema you want to make. This kind of cinema. This kind of films. You want to make something like this.
No,
Like
I think I'm more leaning towards action movies from the 80s kind of style. Something that I find really
like
cool
Indiana
is
Jones.
like Indiana Jones. Like nowadays, a perfect example would be Stranger Things. I'm actually leaning towards series more than films lately. Like I really love the concept of like developing What are you doing?
I'm watching you through a tiny hole. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
Developing like the depth. This is the Kawasaki Ninja we were talking about.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah. So I'm actually in the process of
I like the red
buying a
wheels.
new motorbike,
Okay.
but since the speed limit in Australia is so frustrating, like it's insane how slow you must go and how strict they are. Like you cannot even like talk your way out of a fine. Like it's just like
Maybe it's just New South Wales. Just
It
think
is
about
New
that.
South Wales, but I do live
Maybe
in New
go
South
to
Wales.
like Western Australia or somewhere more
Anywhere
wild
else,
and
I
free.
think anywhere else would. Victoria is, I think, as shit as New South Wales,
for some stuff, maybe yeah.
but
For a lot of stuff. no.
anywhere else in Australia is just like,
Yeah, go to the NT,
what's that?
the Northern Territory.
Oh yes, yeah. That's. I need to get there at some point.
I saw
I've
some
never been
tickets
there.
actually recently.
We should go on a road trip to the Northern Territory.
Or maybe we fly there and then do a road trip, because the road trip to get there, by the time we get there, we're going to be fucking exhausted. We want to go home because it's such a long travel from here.
That's about a week. It's not that long.
No, it'll be longer. Like if you're traveling, checking, it'll be longer. I mean, it can be super fun. You have the right car for it. But
I love my car.
it's a good car.
Actually, I wanted to sell it and get a bigger one.
A bigger one.
Yeah.
How can you go, I mean, what, like 10 seats, like a van?
No. It's still 8 seats, but it's just bigger.
Okay. Yeah, my friend's just got one that's potentially bigger. not seat wise, just in terms of like it's height. Like you're in there and you feel like you're in a truck. It's really
Because at the back I
something
cannot
else.
sleep. I'm like this much taller than like comfortable.
because you want to like a van.
No, I always like to
The possibility
camp,
to sleep inside.
but if I have the possibility, that's just like
you would
peace
sleep
of
on the
mind.
top.
I can sleep on the top, yes.
Like get one of these.
But I would need to put a tent on top.
Yeah.
Like I cannot sleep on the roof rack.
Yeah.
That would be
I mean, you could try. You could put a mattress up there, but it will get wet sometimes.
yes.
But yeah,
sometimes.
put a tent thing up.
I never slept under the rain.
No, most people don't sleep. They stay awake under the rain.
I mean, I never
It's hard to
got
sleep.
awakened by the rain.
Oh, I did. My God, the last time I was in fucking.
By the sound of rain, yes.
No. I got woken up that I was doing the shooting with this friend of mine in Bosnia. The last time I was there, so I was already in Italy as a friend I met in Rome, and he made me fly back with him to Sarajevo, and then go on this march that they do every summer. And it's a nice concept. This march is like the memorial of Srebrenica. So they march it backwards the way that the men ran away. So you arrive on the third day after walking 100 k's through the mountains to the town of Srebrenica, and you have the memorial ceremony, which was the opposite way than they went. So you start on the first day, and it's in summer, but typically it's raining because Bosnia has very mountainous territory around, and it's often raining no matter when you are. And you hike, and all the roads turn to mud, and along the way, people pop up from their village and give you food and dates, and it's coffee. It's nice, but it's also very crazy. And you sleep in these things that look like army camps, because the army itself is participating in the walk. So like you arrive there, and there are these trucks made of like with a big water tank on the back, and you squat with the tap open and like kind of wash yourself, and it's crazy. And they have these, I mean, I think some people do bring their own tents, because you can put luggage inside these trucks that drive, so you don't have to carry all your luggage, and then you pick it up when you get there. So some people do bring their own tents, but most people are sleeping inside these kind of organized like army tents. So it feels a little bit like a refugee camp, because it's all blue, looks like the UN stuff. There's US aid donating bananas for the like it's very random. It's very crazy.
Sounds interesting.
It's really fascinating.
Quite an experience.
It was quite an experience, especially to be shooting it. Like we were shooting this documentary that he was directing, but I was helping as like the co-director.
How long did the
co-DOP.
shoot last?
The 3 days of the hike.
Okay.
But yeah, on the first night, so I had got there after just finishing working at a film festival in Sicily. So I hadn't slept for a couple of nights anyway, because when you work at a film festival, you're working.
What film festival
Taormina.
was oh yeah, that's a cool film.
And then I jumped from Taormina to Rome to Sarajevo, spent the entire day like organizing tent, stuff like this, went to sleep for like 2 hours and had to get on the bus to begin the walk. So I hadn't slept very much by the time I began the walk. I've been like 3 nights I hadn't had like a good night's sleep. And we began, and it's 100k, so like 30k a day of walking. And the first night we get there, okay, we find the correct blue tent that we're gonna sleep in. It's me and him and like 4 other Bosnian guys who are like snoring all night. And it starts to rain, and it's raining, and it's raining, and it's raining, and you get woken up at like 4 in the morning, maybe even 3 something, by you feel the sleeping pad that you're on kind of getting wet, and you're like, oh no, just ignore it, and they ignore it for maybe like half an hour, and then the guys of the tent start getting up and yelling and be like, what the fuck, because their side of the tent, because there's no ground sheet, it's just a pavilion, and you put your own little ground sheet on top of the grass has gone muddy,
Yes.
so they're floating. And I have these insane pictures of this entire tent has completely soaked. Like as we're walking, like we're squashing down. I think we abandoned whatever ground sheet was there. And I'm just huddling there with like all the camera equipment, holding it in this bag on like the one corner of dry. And like we were hanging on from the top of the tent, because it was like this pavilion, so it had the metal part on the top so you could hang stuff. So we're like hanging up like the camera bag so it wouldn't touch the ground. Anyway, it was insane. It was 4 a.m. and yeah, we got woken up by this. Yeah, and we went outside, and like everyone who'd been in that part of the campsite was just awake because there's nothing to do, and everyone's just like having a cigarette together in the rain. And we managed to like go to this one building made of concrete that had like a porch, and I was kind of like sleeping on the steps of there. And then
These are the kind
we
of
got invited
experiences
to
that I
coffee.
really like.
At the time, I didn't like. I mean, at the time, I was so exhausted that I didn't really care where I slept. Like, I literally fell asleep on these concrete steps because I was so tired. Like, it would have been great that I had been well slept before this started, but with the timing, it
Yeah.
just didn't happen. Like I was just rolling from one thing to the other. But yeah, no, it was insane. Like that whole place, and like the morning was amazing to shoot because, yeah, there's people making coffee in the Bosnian way and making sausages on the barbecue and the fog that comes after the rain, and yeah, it was, and the mud and the refugee camp look, and everything was military. Like, have you seen this film by Claire Denis, Beau Travail?
No. What's that about?
Army and beautiful army men, just their bodies, and just, I don't know. She shoots beautifully, and this film is. I mean, there's a whole very intense. I mean, there's a plot, but just very, very briefly, the thing that it reminded me of was just this like army world, that, yeah, everyone was in military and like fences and all this stuff, and yeah, it's interesting to find yourself in these situations. You're like, okay, I know this isn't a refugee camp, but this looks so militarized. This is so strange. Yeah, it was a really.
Do you have any
strange
friends in
experience.
the military?
Except for like Turkish friends that had to do military service, or like Korean friends who had to do it. But yeah.
The only person I know who went through an actual sort of scary war-related scenario is it's a friend of mine who I met through Tinder. She was a photographer.
Was as in she quit, or was as in she died?
No, was as she stopped doing war photography as much as she stopped being a sex worker. I don't know what she does now, but she was
a sex worker photographer.
yeah, she was working on a niche sort of I don't really know, she was working with disabled, like sex services for disabled people.
I just read an article about that today.
That was interesting because she was seeing that as social service in a way, but she was getting paid for it. Anyway,
Paid by the government?
no,
or
paid by the
people?
parents of the people.
Ah, like in The Young Pope.
I haven't seen that.
There's a storyline in The Young Pope.
Anyway, she does super cool photography, but before doing like the pictures that I can find on Instagram are more like sex-ish related. But before that, she used to be a war photographer, and she told me this story about having her camera on her, just hanging on the shoulder, and she forgot to put the cap on top of the lens, and there was a sniper from the other side that thought that she was a sniper. So
Because it saw the reflection.
yes, so the guy shot like a certain distance on top of the lens, because if there was a sniper, that would have been where your head would have been, but since there was the camera hanging at this height, the guy actually hit her in the shoulder, actually on the left shoulder. And I was like, the whole story sounded like super unrealistic until she grabbed my hand and put it on her shoulder and did this, and I felt like like gears without any oil. Like it was super weird. Basically, they told me that what happened there was that she was together with another photographer who ran away and left her there. She dropped on the floor. She dragged herself into a ditch full of corpses, and she waited for the morning after for an American patrol to come in and rescue her, and they brought her to like a campsite where unbelievably she was still alive, but they had to like do some surgery and take the bullet out, but they didn't have any anesthesia or anything like that.
Sorry, what country is this that she was in?
Ukraine.
Okay.
So she had to bite a piece of wood, basically a stick, and the guy pulled out the cartilage or something like out of her shoulder and just saw her
Cartilage.
back. Cartilage.
Cartilage.
That thing. Cartilagine in Italian. Cartilage. Okay. Anyway, so that was horrible, and that's why she stopped. But it's interesting, and it's something that I always wanted to actually do as a filmmaker, to be involved in like more of like very dangerous civil war sort of scenarios. I think I would just give a heart attack to my mom and dad if I was going to places like that.
I never wanted to do this. I would not wish this on anyone. This situation. It's
No, I think it would be just
Yeah.
one of the best experiences that you could do, like just portraying and telling the stories from like, this is so fucked up, and yet this happens, and we only hear about it through other people that hear from other people. Even reporters, like they just look at the like news feeds and they write articles based on like from a couch. Like it's fucked up.
I
You want to
used-
be
yeah.
there and witness that and bring the knowledge in the most realistic way. And I think that I don't know that's why I love storytelling, because it's I think humans are connected because we share the ability to talk to each other until this is gonna change thanks to advancement in technology. But right now that's the way how we do it. So yes, being present in the most extreme scenarios means that you can do whatever you're doing as a storyteller in the most fucked up level of
I don't know. I don't agree that you yourself have to be there. I mean, there are so many people who don't want to be there and are there. You know
I know.
that it's. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
In
considering
some
how
ways,
reckless I
like,
am, I would probably die right away. But I'm drawn to extinction. Like myself, I'm drawn to danger, in a way. That's why
Yeah.
I find myself. I almost died like 12 times in my life. Like I was like this close to death.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
It-
doing parkour and jujitsu, or like
No.
more
In real scenarios, like I
like
got
the road to Eddie.
I got kidnapped in Alaska.
You got kidnapped in Alaska.
Yes. That's
Tell
the
that story. Do we have time?
I don't know. What time is it? And are there any comments out there?
I just got completely distracted.
Bye, dude. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye, stranger.
Gil.
Oh, that's Gil, the guy from before.
Yes.
Gil,
The one listener.
the one listener, yes, that got bored and left.
Gianluca.
So how long have we been live for?
An hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, that's quite long.
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, we can just call it a night.
But I want to hear the Alaska story. Maybe you can save it for next time.
Yeah, are you gonna come back as a guest? Maybe next time you're gonna actually share this live thing on your feed. So thanks everyone. If there are any last minute questions for MJ, the super cool Chinese, Italian, Australian director, Bosnian, etc., this is the time. We're gonna be off in 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
I want to hear the kidnap story.
Yeah, come on. You can't
Next
leave
time,
us,
next time.
leave us on the edge.
Absolutely not now. Who's gonna be our next guest? So the next episode is gonna be on Monday, starting around 7:30, something like that. Who's gonna be a guest? Can you check on the calendar, please?
Sure.
That was the drum roll.
What's the drum roll?
Next Tuesday.
Next.
How many of these are you
Monday.
doing a week?
On Monday.
Says Giovanni.
No, that's not possible.
How many of these are you doing a week? These
I'm doing
interviews?
2 times a week, every Monday and every Thursday around 7 p.m. Australian time,
Sounds
Sydney
exhausting.
time.
And
I don't know, it's just catching up with friends, having nice conversation and drinking beer and destroying glasses and going nuts.
next week's guest is Julian Giovanni.
Oh, Julian! So we've been talking a lot about Julian. We showed some footage from Julian, and Julian is a mathematician, a computer programmer, a samba dancer, and a bread maker. And since there are no more questions, I would say good night or good morning or good afternoon, wherever the 3 viewers are, and we just stop this live thing
Over and out.
right now.
Thank you guys.
Ciao.
We talked for an hour, 40 minutes.